check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey guys, hope everybody's been doing well. Sorry, I know this video has been like kind of a long time coming. I've been talking about making it for a minute. I got, the new battery on this bike and everything and wired up the new controller probably about a week and a half ago, something along those lines. And I've just kind of now gotten around to getting a bunch of footage of that, editing that footage, going on a ride, all of that. So this video will kind of just be like a general update about all of that. It'll show a little bit underneath the seat and the battery cover, how it's wired up, the new controller, all of that. It'll show the new tires. I'll talk about that a bit when I'm on the bike actually riding. I have some ride footage. And then well, honestly, those are really like the only two upgrades that I'll be talking much about. But as far as the headlight that you're seeing here, you'll see that in some shots. It wasn't wired in when I was riding the bike. It wasn't mounted when I was riding the bike. It's still not wired in. I gotta add the rear turn signals. I want to make sure they mount, like everything mounts up properly, before I do wire it. And then I'll get that taken care of. And then, hopefully the next video that I make will be about like, all the wiring and everything and how that works. And there's like a little horn back here behind the light and everything that I put on there. So I'm going to show some of that footage of how everything's kind of organized under here, and then some footage of riding and talking about kind of like what I noticed as far as improvements from all the different upgrades I've been doing, and then like if you guys have any questions about anything about this bike, any of my other bikes, or like how I've done something, or just something that I haven't mentioned before that you're interested in seeing, let me know and I'll try to do a video on that, or at least respond to the comments and everything. So enjoy the footage I got here. Hopefully everything comes out well, hope you guys have a good rest of your day. So on this bike, I'm almost done. I'm about to get this thing wired back up so that I can run up to the bike store with it. I want to basically ask them a question about the suspension, since there's so little clearance, if it's even worth investing in suspension, or not the suspension. I need to ask about the fork to ask about whether it's worth investing in suspension. But overall, everything came together nicely. I have both batteries basically wired in. I had to use crimp connectors on these because the solder I had, it just wouldn't get the wire hot enough because it's a thick gauge. Well, these are thick gauge. And so the solder wouldn't really melt down in there. But basically, I just zip tied them together, and you just swap the between the different connectors to switch batteries. For now, I'm gonna put a switch in there soon that lets you just either flick it or twist it or whatever, just to make it easier to deal with. For now though, I'll probably run the headlights, taillights, and blinkers that I have for this bike. I'll run them off this main battery that it came with, and then the main power will be from the 52-volt battery that I ordered separately. But yeah, all I'm gonna do today, I gotta get the brakes hooked up, back hooked up. I got these ones from Saunders that are basically, they have the cutoff switches. Mine were a different connector type. And then just kind of clean this up. Some of this stuff won't be used currently. Like some of these connectors, this is a brake one, but some of these connectors won't be used currently, so I'll just have to clean them up and kind of organize them. And then as far as the lights and stuff, like I won't be, the tail light won't be wired in, and the headlight won't be wired in until basically I order a new headlight and get the blinkers situated. And then I'll figure out everything with that. So the only things that the bike won't have once I'm done with it today, and right up to the bike shop, will be basically the pedal assist sensor. I need to get a new one, and just the light.
Motorbikes Anza, my wife's bike, to take it for a quick ride and bring it over to the bike store to see about like suspension options that they might have, and also just to get a feel of all of the different upgrades I've done for the bike. I haven't really done a long ride on it ever, to be honest. My wife has, but I definitely haven't done anything since I upgraded it, and it feels like it's doing pretty well so far on this ride. Up steeper hills it goes about 20, it feels like. On flat ground it hits about 25 at the most. This is with a 52 volt battery, mind you, and I have the 500 watt motor on this bike. I'll get more speed out of it, but I'm gonna have to upgrade to like a 1000 watt, 1500 watt motor. But we'll do that. For now, I just wanted to get an idea of how these tires felt. I wanted to get an idea of, I wanted to get an idea of everything else, like the 35 amp controller, all of that. The thumb throttle, the new screen, how everything's gonna, work and everything. So far, I'm very satisfied. I'm not gonna lie, when I first got this bike, I absolutely hated it. Like, I just did not like the bike. I was not feeling it, I didn't enjoy how slow it was. I felt like lied to by Monday because they advertised one thing, and I think they continue to advertise one thing and then provide something that's completely different. I knew I was going to change everything on this bike from the beginning, but for someone else that, doesn't want to change everything or doesn't even, really know how or want to get into that, like, they should be able to buy a bike that's advertised, and they should be able to buy a bike that does exactly what's advertised. They shouldn't have to change anything to get the advertised specifications. I mean, none of the stock components get it even close to where I'm at now. Like, it just doesn't work that way. I mean, I have a new display, I have a new controller, I have a new battery, I have new, aesthetic shit that doesn't really matter, but, it's not like it was cheap. I mean, it was probably about $300 for everything. I had to get new brake levers, like none of the cables fit well. Like the plugs, I should say, the connectors. But, it was worth it. It's definitely performing substantially better. Now I can go on a ride with my wife and not be completely bored out of my mind on the Sur-Ron. But if we can get suspension on this, it'll make a hell of a difference. Like, this right now is a pretty bumpy ride. Like, you can kind of see probably the front wheel bumping up and down, but that's even with these tires. Like, these tires, it's substantially smoother than the stock ones, so yeah, I don't know, man. Like, they should have included suspension since it was included on the Presidio and everything. I honestly have no idea what the range is going to be like on this battery. I don't know why it's saying it's like 47.3 volts right now. I haven't gone that far. It doesn't look like it's dropped. I don't know whether the display is programmed correctly where I'm going to get the right readout, or, I'm just going to have to mess with it. But for now, it's awesome, and I do have a backup battery if I need it. I can just unplug the one I have plugged in and plug the other one in. I'm going to get a switch wired in at some point because that'll be substantially easier than, like, continuously having to unplug one battery and plug in the other. And I don't want any, like, sparks or anything. I think the plugs can, have some, they have something that resists sparks, but even still. The tires are a definite, must-do. Like, if you get this bike, you need to upgrade the tires. The stock ones are absolute shit. Like, absolute shit. They really are. Honestly, the stock bike is just not that great. But it is what it is, you get what you pay for. I really didn't pay much for this bike. I got it early on, so I'm not really complaining, but I just still think they should provide what was advertised, sorry if the footage is bad too. I can't really tell how it's connected, and this was kind of a last minute thing. I didn't know I was going to do this. I had thought about it, but anyway. Not playing music. Although the speaker on this bike is badass. I like it. That's the one I had on my other bike, my DIY bike, but I don't know, I moved it over here because that one's not really getting any use. It's going to be sold at some point whenever someone expresses actual interest, but I do need to get brakes and stuff on it so people can actually ride it. I need to just take that thing out. I haven't ridden it in a minute and just tune it up a bit. If I take it out and do that, I'll, make a video so you guys can see what that bike was like too, or is like. It needs a new front tire though. That's for sure. I still wish this thing could get up to like 30 or 40. I mean 35, 40. I think if I upgrade the motor, it'll do that. Already almost there. Normally this bike has a sensor for the light too, but there's no lights right now. That's the one thing I haven't done yet, the lights. They need to be wired up, but I'm going to get new lights and blinkers and stuff installed, so kind of waiting for all that. I definitely don't feel as cool riding this thing as I do on the Sur-Ron. These tires are fire though. I mean, they go through any of that gravel shit, it's not gonna slow you down or make you skid or slide or anything. I'm sure the stock tires are kind of sketchy on tight turns, especially if you're going faster. I definitely wouldn't want the stock tires. I guess I could have just cut through the park instead of the sidewalk. Oh well. I mean, this bike is a viable commuter now. Like, I like it. I'm excited for my wife to be able to ride it to work because her work is not that far. It's not that bad of a ride, and yeah, I mean, I'm not super stressed about her riding except for on this road. Excuse me. People everywhere, doing shit, being crazy. This bike's fun now, actually. I like this thing. I mean, it looks cool as fuck too, so that's like always a plus, right? I mean, I can get here pretty quick too on this. Like, I'm just like taking sidewalks and shit. I just need suspension. Looks like for that shit's bumpy. Hey, how are you? Well, have a good day, okay? So, maybe not worth the fork investment. Like, I know she said she doesn't know much about these bikes, but she does work at a bike store and it is at Bike, and I can say that it most likely is not worth investing in it if she doesn't think it would be worth it with these tires and stuff. So I don't know, we'll see. I might still get that one. I'll come back up and ask Vinny. He's helped me with a lot of these things, and I think he has a little bit more knowledge about these bikes, but we'll see how it goes. whatever. It was still a fun little ride, and I got to test it out. Out of anything that I've, like I've said, out of anything that I've upgraded on this, I would definitely go for the tires over anything else. Well, I would go for the tires, and I would complain to Monday until they give you a bike that actually goes the speed that they say that it does on the website. Because, I mean, the 500 watt going 20 miles an hour is reasonable. I'm overvolting mine. The 750 watt going 28 miles an hour is also reasonable. But, I mean, realistically, it should be able to go as fast as like a Super 73 RX and stuff like that. You know what I mean?